Welcome to Psychopinion. This is our March Madness Directors Edition. We will be having all of the best horror directors facing off against one another until we find out who truly is the best horror director. This is the qualifier round. Keep watching. You don't have to subscribe, but you'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Psychopinion. I've got a very special episode for you today. I say that a lot, and I say that actually every week, but this one I do feel is really special. While I was actually sitting there the other day at work, and I was listening to some of the guys talking about who they were going to pick for their fantasy sports leagues and things like that, and we are now in March Madness, and I was like, I'm not really too into that. I don't have the time or the energy, but I do have the time and energy for horror movies. So what I've decided to do this year for you during this March Madness season is that we're going to do our own March Madness, and what we're going to do is use horror directors. So what I've done here is I've gone ahead, and I will show you all of the images as we go here, is that I have selected 22 of the top all-time horror directors, and we have put them in a bracket. The brackets were decided by a randomizer, so there is no rhyme or reason to how these guys are put together, but they are put together. We're still going to have a winner at the end of this thing. So the way that this is going to work is that we have directors facing off, and these directors facing off, I will be putting out their 3 top or most popular movies decided by the people based on a ton of research that I did across various websites to find out the popularity of these directors and their movies, and we will go ahead and discuss who we think should win these as we go forward, and then I will announce the winner. So we'll go ahead and start off, and our first bracket here that we have is going to be Tom Holland and Mike Flanagan. And Tom Holland and Mike Flanagan are responsible. Tom Holland did Fright Night, Child's Play, and The Temp. And Mike Flanagan's most popular movies, based on what I found, are Hush, Gerald's Game, and Dr. Sleep. So we have Tom Holland versus Mike Flanagan to begin.
I leaned, I would say, more towards Mike Flanagan's like Netflix specials. Everybody knows about The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor. And Midnight Mass, which I absolutely loved.
Great.
So I was big on him for those reasons and not so much for the movies that he's done.
And to be honest with you, I actually really agreed with that, and I noticed that was probably, in my opinion, his more solid work. But, based on movies, really, and kind of the most popular movies. But yeah, I agree with you. If it was a competition of complete and utter total works, which maybe I can build on next year, I would say that his those movies are definitely solid in my opinion, for sure.
I was just gonna say that this one was a tough choice for me. I really love Fright Night. I also
Classic.
like Child's Play. Yeah, but the 80s Fright Night was one of my favorite movies back in the day.
Oh yeah. So good.
It's got so many like iconic moments. It's kind of like a little bit comedy too, which I love. But yeah, like this one was tough. Apparently he did The Temp too, which I didn't realize until you showed us that he had done that one. I barely remember that movie, but I remember it being like pretty suspenseful. I had seen it like a long time ago.
Well, that's another thing that I think is going to be so fun about this experience for us and for our listeners, is that there's a lot of movies here that I didn't connect to some of these directors. Like I just, never really thought about it, I guess.
Yeah, there was a couple of surprising ones in here, and that was one of them for me because I just didn't realize he had done that one. But yeah, this was like a tough choice. I kind of was on the fence about it, but like Steve said, I actually that was the tiebreaker for me. I was thinking about like all the great television shows that he's done. I know it's not movies, but it broke the tie because I really enjoy a lot of his shows.
See, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually leaned a little more towards Tom Holland because some of the other works that I found that Tom Holland had done was Thinner, which, I love Stephen King, and Thinner is one of my favorites, actually. As well as, he did Psycho 2, which I'm sure a lot of people aren't really familiar with the sequels to Psycho, but I'm a huge fan. I love the whole Psycho series. So, actually, I really kind of thought it was interesting, the work that he did. Plus, Child's Play is just iconic. It's one of the big boys. It's one of the all-time greatest slashers. To me, that's kind of hard to beat, whereas Mike Flanagan is definitely a little bit more of a newer director. A lot of his movies are much more recent, but Tom Holland definitely has some bangers from, the classic horror era, the 80s. So I'm actually on Tom Holland for this one. Liza, did you have a vote on this one, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely Mike Flanagan. I love Gerald's Game. I thought that was absolutely incredible. It's so terrifying because how he portrays her in those handcuffs, and it's like you're safe in a home, in a bed, like something usually you would think of comfort, and he turns it into something that is so terrifying. And especially like the ending scene with the dude, I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Well, that's you. In my bedroom, it is for both comfort and terrifying. So
nice.
And I really enjoyed Dr. Sleep. I thought that was really good. So
yeah, that's kind of cool with you saying that. It really right now, actually, I'm making the connection that they've both done work with Stephen King writing, so that's pretty cool too. The correlation there. Of course, I think Thinner is more of a classic and a better one. He also did the Langoliers for TV was Tom Holland, so that was another work of Stephen King. But it looks like on this one I am outnumbered.
Yeah, I've got to go Flanagan, but I've got a feeling that Holland might have a bigger body of work. Therefore, he might have won, but we'll see.
It's not about the body of work, and that is why, because people are probably like, well, why aren't you looking at the entire body of work? And I hope everybody that watches these watch this part first so I can explain that. Not everybody has the same amount of work, but some people have made astounding horror movies. So in order for me to make it a level playing field, that's why I had to pick kind of their top 3 popular movies, because, there's no way you could put somebody, like Wes Craven against a newer director like, say, Eggers, based on their bodies of work, when there's just such a huge difference in just, quantity and, So that's why I did that. If anybody was wondering, I'm glad I got a chance to explain that. So I'm outnumbered. We got 3-1 here. I'm going to go with Holland, and we will announce the winner.
Chucky. Nobody believes you about Chucky. He came alive in my hand.
Oh, for God's sake.
Why won't you believe me?
Because I'm sane, Mrs. Barkley. Sane and rational.
The winner of this one was Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan took it, and actually by over 10 points.
Wow.
So Flanagan blew Holland out of the water. Wow. First upset, or at least to me. You guys are probably pretty happy, but it's my first upset of the evening. But I'm sure I'm sure there will be more upsets to come. We're going to do our own March Madness, and what we're going to do is use horror directors. I have selected 22 of the top all-time horror directors, and we have put them in a bracket. The brackets were decided by a randomizer, so there is no rhyme or reason to how these guys are put together, but they are put together. We're still going to have a winner at the end of this thing. So the way that this is going to work is that we have directors facing off, and these directors facing off, I will be putting out their 3 top or most popular movies decided by the people, based on a ton of research that I did across various websites to find out the popularity of these directors and their movies, and we will go ahead and discuss who we think should win these as we go forward, and then I will announce the winner. So looking at bracket number 2 on my list here, this is a really interesting one, and this one, everything's at random, but this one here, super artsy directors. We've got David Lynch and Roman Polanski. So that's kind of an interesting matchup right there. But somehow I feel like that fits. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I feel like they're similar enough to me that I feel like it makes sense. For this one here, we have David Lynch's Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, and Mulholland Drive. Roman Polanski is Knife in the Water, Repulsion, and Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, man. My favorite
So
one
I know,
isn't in there.
Is it Possession?
No, it's The Ninth Gate.
For Polanski?
I really like that movie.
Oh, The Ninth
Ninth
Gate.
Gate is good. I like The Ninth Gate.
Polanski do that? I didn't realize.
It's going to sound like I don't like it because of what I'm about to say, but The Ninth Gate is one of my going to sleep movies, and I don't know why, but it's I find it to be a comforting movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's just super scary or blow you away or anything, but it's a good watch for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I thought Rosemary's Baby could be pretty scary at times.
Oh, I love Rosemary's Baby. Rosemary's Baby, in my opinion, is one of the all-time greats. I mean, and to me, it's right up there with Psycho and Jaws and Poltergeist and Exorcist and all those guys. For a little inspiration out there, David Lynch is also responsible for Eraserhead, Elephant Man, Dune, Wild at Heart, Lost Highway. Roman Polanski also has Cul-de-sac, The Fearless Vampire Killers. He did Macbeth, which isn't horror. I mean, so he didn't always do horror, but The Ninth Gate is up here.
Possession. He did Possession, too.
Possession. So,
that's pretty good.
We just lost David Lynch this year. He died in January. Mm-hmm. So I noticed that as I was looking into him a little bit more. But
well, let's have a moment of silence for David Lynch. All right. So
so just focusing on the movies that I have seen by Roman Polanski, which I've seen Repulsion, but it was a really long time ago, and all I remember was that it was kind of something to do with the woman being really scared and she's like sexually frightened, and anyway, whatever. I barely remember it, so we'll skip it. So Rosemary's Baby, classic.
Yeah, that one's hands down in my opinion. I mean, like I said, I put it up there with The Exorcist. I mean, when I was growing up, that was one of the. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was the first, but it was definitely probably in the first 10 horror movies I've ever seen. You know, I mean, it's just solid gold.
Agreed. And you didn't really mention Possession much, but I thought Possession was pretty crazy. I mean, that's like, ooh. Watching some people like in their descent into madness is, I mean, that, okay, sorry, I can't collect my thoughts. So Sam Neill was in that movie, and I forgot the woman's name, but she's super popular in horror too. And they just do like a phenomenal job, like acting, for one thing. And that movie like gets really crazy towards the end, but that's the one that really like is centered in my mind when you talk about Polanski, that and Rosemary's Baby.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Sam Neill, so Sam Neill,
yeah,
anything is great.
Yeah, he's great. So there's that, but so this was a little bit hard to decide between because both of these directors are like kind of surreal.
Yeah.
And they have like a particular like kind of weird, quirky style.
They definitely have their own style.
Yeah. But I've decided on Lynch because I've seen a lot more of Lynch's movies, and they've impacted me more, I guess. Like, I really enjoy his style. It's so hard to describe. It's other than like surreal, I guess.
See, for me, Lynch has a real way of, that guy puts you in moments in movies that you can feel on a like metaphysical level. You know, I explained in a previous episode, that one scene from Lost Highway where the guy was like, "I'm at your house," you know, and then he calls him at his house, like that. Talking about it right now is giving me goosebumps. Like, it's just that moment. The guy builds a moment. I mean, I think David Lynch can build a moment.
Oh, that's well said. Yes.
And in that moment, it's like you and what you're watching is all that exists, and that's insane. You know, for somebody to be able to do that. Absolutely. It is special.
Absolutely. I definitely picked David Lynch, just because my childhood is basically Twin Peaks.
I thought you were going to say Elephant Man.
No, my dad loved that show, and I just remember I loved it because I was allowed to say, "That's some damn good coffee."
Nice.
And, yeah.
I love that quote.
I just thought that was just like the best thing, and yeah, just like that. I remember that red room and
Red Room.
That was just wild. I just really think he is really incredible. Mulholland Drive was really good as well.
Yeah, and if Rob was here, he would talk about the dumpster monsters. That is Rob's moment that gives him goosebumps.
He sure would.
Steve, we got two Lynchers.
Yeah, I'm going to stir the pot and go Polanski, just for shits and gigs.
You know what? We're going 2 and 2 here, because I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful, obviously, Rosemary's Baby, most horror people have seen. I still, like Jake says, he'll go to bed tonight, night 8. I just, every time I've ever seen it on, I've just continued to let it play. So, you know, one of those movies that you turn the TV on and it's already playing, and you're like, yeah, I'll sit and finish this, regardless of where it is. So,
absolutely,
yeah,
I'm with you 100%.
For that reason, I'm going to go Polanski.
For the reason of Rosemary's Baby, I'm going to go Polanski.
Satan is his father, not Guy. He came up from hell and begat a son of mortal woman. Hail, Satan!
Hail, Satan!
Satan is his father, and his name is Adrian. He shall overthrow the mighty and lay waste their temples. He shall redeem the despised and wreak vengeance in the name of the burned and the tortured.
Sadly, after Steve's news, the results of this one are Polanski. He took this one by about 8 points.
Oh.
Roman Polanski won this one. I'm sad for David Lynch in his passing, but he will be remembered as one of the greats. So, unfortunately for him, Roman Polanski took this round, and will be moving on to face Sam Raimi. We're going to do our own March Madness, and what we're going to do is use horror directors. I have selected 22 of the top all-time horror directors, and we have put them in a bracket. The brackets were decided by a randomizer, so there is no rhyme or reason to how these guys are put together, but they are put together. We're still going to have a winner at the end of this thing. So the way that this is going to work is that we have directors facing off, and these directors facing off, I will be putting out their 3 top or most popular movies decided by the people based on a ton of research that I did across various websites to find out the popularity of these directors and their movies, and we will go ahead and discuss who we think should win these as we go forward, and then I will announce the winner. All right, so we've got another one here, and I know that this one is just going to tickle Jen Pink, but we've got the great, in Jen's opinion especially, David Cronenberg versus
Winner.
Dante. What?
Winner.
Winner. Oh, yeah. Well, Jen's already... I mean, we don't even need to talk about it. If you've seen the show... If you've seen this show, you already know that there's nothing for Jen to discuss except for just, that's it. He won, so...
Oh, well, maybe he didn't win, like, the entire thing, but for this particular, whatever, round, against Joe Dante, right?
Joe Dante.
Which...
He's got some banging stuff, though.
No, he did. Yeah. He did, yeah. He's got great stuff. But for me, like, personally, it's Cronenberg all the way.
Well, for you, it's always Cronenberg all the way. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, I want to go all the way.
Oh, God. Well, Cronenberg is also, you know what? I'm not even going to say it. Jen, why don't you tell us some more about what Cronenberg's done? I'm sure you know them all.
I mean, if you like some sexy body horror.
Sexy body horror. I like the way she says that.
Although, I will say this, though. There is a movie that he did that I do not like. It was Crimes of the Future. I didn't like it. Didn't like it, like, almost at all. Like, I give it a very low score. Hated it.
Well, luckily enough, that's not on our list, so...
Yeah, it's not. What do we have on that list, anyway? I know The Fly was on there.
On our list, for this one, we have Videodrone for David Cronenberg, The Fly... and Dead Ringers.
Dead Ringers, yeah.
Those are our picks for David Cronenberg. Now, looking at Joe Dante, we have Gremlins, Gremlins 2, and one of my all-time favorite movies ever made.
The Burbs.
I can literally say it word for word while I watch it, is The Burbs.
Yeah.
And I include it in horror, even though it's like comedy horror, it's still like, I love that movie. Just that's it. That's winner.
You made me watch it.
Winner. So I'm gonna be like Jen and just The Burbs won this one. So.
And I'm gonna take a non-horror movie of his and add it in there, Inner Space, which I loved.
I love Inner Space.
I love that movie. So
I didn't realize that was done by him. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, some of these guys have done some stuff. I mean, it's crazy. Some of the films that some of these guys have done. Looking over this stuff, you just don't even realize. I mean, he did Inner Space, Piranha. I mean, Piranha is incredible. I like Piranha, but you guys know I like my water horror movies. The Howling. I mean, we're not doing that, Steve, but if we even wanted to go, one more that's not horror, Matinee with John Goodman, I mean, that's a great movie to me. There's a lot there for him for sure. I think there's more. I think his movies are more just like sit down and enjoy than Cronenberg. Cronenberg is definitely.
I think they're more popular.
Well, they're easy. They're easy watchers.
More popular.
They're easy watchers. David Cronenberg is a lot. He's another one of those kind of a little bit artsy. He's got his own style. Yeah. I've enjoyed some David Cronenberg movies. I sure have. Actually, The Fly is, another classic horror movie in my opinion. Another one of those ones that's just in the Hall of Fame, for sure. But overall, this one here, I'm gonna have to go with Joe Dante. Joe Dante for Steve.
I mean, I know I'm going to lose this one anyway.
Liza, you got one here? Joe Dante or David Cronenberg?
I liked Gremlins. I hate.
What is like Gremlins? You hate the Burbs?
Burbs?
What?
You hate the Burbs?
Me out.
What?
Why?
It creeps me out really bad.
It's so good.
What freaks you out about it?
I don't know. It's just creepy to me.
It's like the
best. Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah.
That's kind of a good thing, right?
I hate that horror movie. It scares me.
It doesn't scare me. It just it just makes me feel icky, and I'm just like, ugh.
Icky. Yeah. So does that mean you're going with Cronenberg?
I like The Fly.
How does The Fly make you feel less icky than The Burbs? The Fly is super icky.
It's so gross.
It's super
amazing.
Icky.
I don't know, but I like what is his name? Oh man, I just blanked out.
David Cronenberg?
No, the actor in The Fly.
Joe.
Goldblum.
Yes,
Goldblum.
I really like him.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, this isn't Jeff Goldblum versus Tom Hanks. This is David Cronenberg versus Joe Dante. So.
I'll probably do David Cronenberg.
Okay. Again, we are 2.
We're gonna lose.
To 2. I like this. I like that we've got some, some static here a little bit.
Here comes the Inferno.
All right, let's let it compute.
Find the rest of that skeleton to go with that femur. Oh, it might not be Walter, but it's gonna be some poor tortured. Shut up, Art! Shut up! God, you don't know when to quit, do you?
We have got David Cronenberg for the win.
Wow.
What? Really?
Beating Joe Dante by 15 plus points.
That's a bit much.
Wow.
That's a lot.
I demand a recount.
I mean, I'll put it back through the compute if you like, but those are the results that we have. David Cronenberg took it.
That's wild.
I am surprised. I thought it was not going to be in my favor there.
Well, apparently the people have spoken. We're going to do our own March Madness, and what we're going to do is use horror directors. I have selected 22 of the top all-time horror directors, and we have put them in a bracket. The brackets were decided by a randomizer, so there is no rhyme or reason to how these guys are put together, but they are put together. We're still going to have a winner at the end of this thing. So the way that this is going to work is that we have directors facing off, and these directors facing off, I will be putting out their 3 top or most popular movies decided by the people based on a ton of research that I did across various websites to find out the popularity of these directors and their movies, and we will go ahead and discuss who we think should win these as we go forward, and then I will announce the winner. This is a really interesting one here, guys. I don't know how you feel about this, but we're going to get to it. This is really interesting. Jordan Peele versus Rob Zombie. Nowhere else in the world but this show will you see Jordan Peele versus Rob Zombie.
That is true.
That's true. It's absolutely true. This is the only place to see it. So right off the bat, we all know, and I've talked about it 100 times, I wanted Jordan Peele to be the next best thing. Unfortunately,
started off strong, and then
Get Out was awesome. I love Get Out. Get Out's amazing. I actually watch that movie fairly often, but the rest of his movies I think are absolute trash.
Yep.
That being said, Rob Zombie, in my opinion, has had his hits and misses. Believe it or not, on this list, his movies are Devil's Rejects, Halloween, and The Lords of Salem. How The Lords of Salem is a popular movie blows my mind. I think that is one of the biggest crap fests I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I can't stand that movie, and I have no idea how it made this list.
So that ranked higher than House of a Thousand Corpses? Is that
it did in popularity. It did in popularity, yes.
Really?
Huh.
Yep. It was the popular choice in all of the, I did a ton of research, and that was the popular choice. I couldn't believe it either. Like I said, these aren't my favorites. This isn't me going through and picking and choosing what I like. This is what I found. And some of this stuff is rather shocking to me, too, I'll let you know. And then, of course, obviously, Jordan Peele's 3 movies are the only 3 movies, which are Get Out, Us, and Nope.
Nope was a mess.
I thought Nope was better than Us. If we're going to be honest, Nope was better than Us. Us was not my cup of tea. I didn't dig that movie at all. Get Out was strong, but obviously, for this one, I'm going to have to go with Zombie and I'm going to tell you why, mainly because House of a Thousand Corpses came out, and the reason I like House of a Thousand Corpses is because I feel like if they told me I could make one horror movie, it'd probably be something like that, because I feel like he took inspiration from a lot of older horror movies that I really like, including Texas Chainsaw. That movie is very reminiscent of Texas Chainsaw, but then he also took the characters from that and then made a whole different kind of horror movie, which that one is on the list, Devil's Rejects, where it's like, you know, it's interesting to me because the man took 3 characters and kind of made different movies with those people that had completely different vibes and like kind of a totally different thing, but it worked. It worked. So then, of course, 3 from Hell was after that, and that even then was still different in my opinion. So I know Liza over there has a strong opinion on this one. Where are you going?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't really like Jordan Peele's movies. I love Rob Zombie. Devil's Rejects is probably I had to sit here and analyze a lot of all my favorite movies and thinking about just that end scene in Devil's Rejects and I love Baby. Like she is just freaking amazing. I think
Tutti fucking fruity.
Yes, and there's just so many good things in there. So I think Devil Rejects is probably at least my top 2 movies.
Yeah. No, you definitely love that one. You've always loved that one.
I love that movie.
And to add on to that, the end scene of that is incredible. I love that.
I even went to see Leonard Skinner just because of that movie.
That's weird.
Even though they're kind of dead, but they came to Raleigh.
Kind of dead.
Well,
kind of.
This show isn't about Leonard Skinner, but it's like back in the day they were kind of like the original, like best of Leonard Skinner was dead, but now they've been playing for so long they're just Leonard Skinner again. Yeah. But that's beside the point. Did you have anything else on that, or just Devil's Rejects?
I loved House of a Thousand Corpses. I liked Halloween too. I think Rob Zombie does really good.
Halloween was cool, but Halloween 2 was like right under Lords of Salem as far as just crap fest, in my opinion. Jen or Steve, you guys got a winner on this one?
Yeah, well, one of the 2 are more human than a human. And because of that, I got a feeling that Jordan Peele is going to win this for some ridiculous reason, but I pick Rob Zombie. Like you said, I mean, Get Out is, I mean, quite possibly top 10, 15 of those movies. Just not so much from the horror aspect, but just collectively, it's got a lot going on, and it was a really cool watch, and it also kind of caught you off guard too, because that was his debut and everything, so nobody knew what was getting ready to happen, and it was fantastic. When I watched Us for the first time, I wanted to like it. Like I was kind of on the edge of my seat, like what's getting ready to happen. And then after it was over, I just was kind of like, what the hell was this? It just didn't do it for me. Yeah. And then the same with Nope. I just kind of watched that with my jaw wide open, just going, what the hell am I watching? But yeah, I mean, I like Rob Zombie. I like his music and I like his movies, so I'm going to go with him.
And I like his style. Jen, what do you got?
Okay, so Rob Zombie, I like his music better than I like his movies. I don't care that much for his movies, actually.
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Whoa.
The scene in the hotel where he takes the face off and makes the girl run out into I would thought you would have loved that.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I mean, there are some parts in some of the movies. I haven't seen all of his movies. But there are the ones I've seen. There are parts in some of them that I liked. I did not like Halloween though. I did not like the whatever you want to call it, reimagining of Halloween. And some of the other ones I haven't seen in like quite a while. But I didn't really. I don't know. I just never really like gravitated towards his movies.
Wow.
However, now with Jordan Peele, I loved Get Out. I mean, I agree with you, Jake. I loved Get Out, but like the other 2 movies, I didn't quite care for those. I feel like Jordan Peele knows what he's trying to do in his brain, but he doesn't always clearly like make it happen on screen with those other 2 movies. With Get Out, I feel like he did it perfectly. Just based on Get Out and how much I enjoyed that one and understood what he was trying to convey, and he wasn't trying to go too far, like all over the place like he did in Nope. Based on that, I choose Jordan Peele.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We got a 3-1 on this one here. We got 3 zombies and a Peele. Yeah, like I said, and I just wanted to just say this one part, and I didn't mean to I almost cut you off earlier, but with Nope, and I said this in a previous show, but I feel like his side plots, I was more interested in the side plots than the actual main plot, but he never built on the side plots, and that bothered the crap out of me.
And I might have been more interested in the side plots because the main plot sucked. So, and then the side plots never went anywhere either. So, I would say that even Key would go with Rob Zombie.
Oh my God! Wow.
I don't know.
Key is going zombie. All right, we got a 4-1 with Key here on Zombie versus Peele, and let's go ahead and get those results.
Oh, no.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Jordan Peele took this one by exactly 30 points.
30 points.
So
30
that's
points.
A classic. The guy's name is what's driving it. I think so many people have seen like Key and Peele and all those other different things, and then they remember the best of what they've seen out of his 3 movies, and might not be remembering things clearly because that's ridiculous. But,
well, let's be honest though. If this was a comedy competition and not a horror competition, I friggin' love Key and Peele.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's just be honest. I mean, if I'm sitting around bored, half the time I put on Key and Peele on YouTube. You know, I'm a huge fan. But yes, Jordan Peele for the win. We're going to do our own March Madness, and what we're going to do is use horror directors. I have selected 22 of the top all-time horror directors, and we have put them in a bracket. The brackets were decided by a randomizer, so there is no rhyme or reason to how these guys are put together, but they are put together. We're still going to have a winner at the end of this thing. So the way that this is going to work is that we have directors facing off, and these directors facing off, I will be putting out their 3 top or most popular movies decided by the people based on a ton of research that I did across various websites to find out the popularity of these directors and their movies, and we will go ahead and discuss who we think should win these as we go forward, and then I will announce the winner. Moving on, we've got Steve Miner versus James Wan. Steve Miner with one of me and Jen's personal favorites, House, is a Steve Miner film, and he also did Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3. And he is up against James Wan, and we all know James Wan because he just literally does the same thing over and over and over and over again with Insidious, Conjuring, Conjuring 2. Those are the 3 movies that we have up there for James Wan.
What about Saw?
Can I rename him?
Didn't he do the first Saw?
James Wan did Saw, Dead Silence, Death Sentence, Insidious, The Conjuring, Insidious Chapter 2, Furious 7, The Conjuring,
12.
Aquaman, Malignant, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, that.
And the Lost Kingdom.
He was trying to tarnish his reputation by putting out garbage.
That's Furious 7
What's
and
that, DC?
Aquaman?
Yeah, the Aquaman stuff is.
Well, Furious 7. Come on.
That's true.
But yeah, he did Saw and he did Dead Silence, and honestly, out of his catalog, Dead Silence would probably be my favorite. Sorry, Billy, but you know, I like Dead Silence. Also, another puppet movie, but I'm not cheating on you, man. Anyway, so and then Steve Miner, He did a Godzilla, King of Monsters, Warlock. There's
right?
An old one.
He did Warlock?
He did Warlock.
I love Warlock.
Halloween H2O, which is one of the better Halloweens in my opinion. He did the 2008 Day of the Dead, and probably the best movie he ever did was Lake Placid.
Lake Placid. Yeah.
Oh, he did that.
So, Steve Miner, James Wan, guys, give it to me.
Well, let me start. So I'll let you guys do all the work, but I'll be quick. I'm going to guess that it's James Wan just because of how hard and fast he's hit us with all of the same movies over and over again with different names. They do all feel the same. All the Insidious stuff, all the Conjuring, I get them mixed up. Like I don't even know which one is which. And but I've got a feeling that most people are going to, because of how new it all is, and because that stuff has just been everywhere, you can't open your eyes without
really
seeing
hot.
It is. It has
been hot.
And quite frankly, I really liked the first Saw. I really did. And so I'm gonna go with him because of that. But I got a feeling that Steve Miner, with all of his kind of iconic stuff, might topple. But I don't know. See.
I mean, that's a pretty good working theory. You guys, the ladies, where are you guys at? Miner or Wan?
I'd have to go James Wan.
Okay.
I love.
Well, I know you like The Conjuring, so
really
Liza's
like
a big Conjuring fan.
Yeah. But the first one, I did get
the first Conjuring was the best of the Conjurings, but I will agree with Steve that I have many conversations about horror with people because it's kind of what I do, and we'll be discussing like their favorite scene from one of those movies, and for the life of us, me and that person are trying to figure out which movie that scene was in because it's just kind of it's just it all comes together. It all just kind of
it's all muddled.
It's muddled. Great word, muddled. Jen, on the spot.
Well, I mean, I agree with Steve, and I do think that everybody is going to pick one, for the same reasons that Steve gave.
But
really.
I want to know who you would pick.
Miner.
Miner.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to go with Miner.
She's going to go with David Cronenberg. This one.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Miner also, and that has a lot to do with Lake Placid. He did some really good. By the way, he did do a really a couple of great movies, non-horror. By the way, Forever Young, My Father the Hero, Big Bully. I mean, he did some decent ones that weren't horror as well. So, congrats for that. I mean, James Wan did as well, but it was Aquaman and Furious 7. So,
yeah, fuck that.
There we are. With that being said, I think everybody but Liza here is on Team Miner. Yeah. Let's go ahead and see what we got, guys.
Think you're funny, Roger? A few years ago, you had a chance to kill me. Now I'm gonna kill your little boy unless you kill yourself.
No!
Daddy!
James Wan took this by quite a bit.
What a surprise.
How much?
Oh, he took it by 20-something points here.
Oh. Well, Jordan Peele took Rob Zombie by like 30, so.
Yeah, which that's insane. Yeah. This bracket is crazy. This is fun. I like to see, I mean, we're going to do our own March Madness, and what we're going to do is use horror directors. I have selected 22 of the top all-time horror directors and we have put them in a bracket. The brackets were decided by a randomizer, so there is no rhyme or reason to how these guys are put together, but they are put together. We're still going to have a winner at the end of this thing. So the way that this is going to work is that we have directors facing off, and these directors facing off, I will be putting out their 3 top or most popular movies decided by the people based on a ton of research that I did across various websites to find out the popularity of these directors and their movies, and we will go ahead and discuss who we think should win these as we go forward, and then I will announce the winner. The next one coming up is something that I think that Jen and I may fist fight over here through the screens, because this one is one of my all-time favorites versus one of Jen's all-time favorites. And that's Tobe Hooper versus Dario Argento. And this is also, I want to say, is a very interesting matchup. I feel like this is also a very, I don't know, this is like 2 heavy hitters. This is a really this is a good match right here. So with that being said, of course, we're going to talk about my man first, Tobe Hooper, who hit 3 movies he's up there for: Texas Chainsaw, The Funhouse, and Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, Poltergeist.
Tough one.
And then we've got Dario Argento, who's up there with The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Deep Red, and Jen's favorite, Suspiria. Mm. So, do you guys have anything right off the bat? I know Jen's over there just the same way with... I'd like to see what happens if Argento and Cronenberg go against each other, quite honestly.
Oh, I could probably make that decision.
Well, if we get there, we'll discuss it.
I mean, I was going to let somebody else go first, but...
Apparently nobody has.
All right, I'll go. Hooper, now your turn.
Yeah.
Same.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
That was fast.
Mm-hmm.
This was very hard for me.
It would have to be.
Very, very, very hard for me.
It would have to be.
Yeah. And I think y'all are going to be surprised. Because I also chose Hooper.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is insane.
I know. And it was super hard. Like, I was thinking about this, like, right before we came on. Because this was the one I think that was probably the hardest for me to figure out. But okay, so I like Dario Argento mostly for his style, and like it's very like colorful. He's got like some crazy music. There's like a lot of like slasher violence, but in such a iconic and stylistic way. But if I'm basing it on just that, I mean, I can't base it just on that. That's just like, it's like all flash and no substance. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when the more and more I thought about it, and the more I thought about, Tobe Hooper's repertoire.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. And I love Poltergeist, like, so much. Like, that is, like, one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it's right up there with Rosemary's Baby, as we were talking about earlier, that classic, top 10 or so,
For sure.
He's also responsible... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, so I chose Tobe Hooper.
Tobe Hooper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Liza surprised the second time almost as much as the first. It's incredible. He's also responsible for Eaten Alive, Salem's Lot, Invaders from Mars, Texas Chainsaw 2, Night Terrors, Body Bags, The Mangler, Crocodile, I Like My Water Horror, Dance of the Dead, and most recently Jen. Is that how you pronounce that? D-J-I-N-N, Jen?
Oh,
Jen.
I thought you were just saying my name. I was like, what?
He's responsible for Jen. That is her daddy.
He's responsible for you.
Anyway, so with this one, I think we're all on Hooper. There's not much more to say. Let's get the calculations rolling. Argento takes it.
What? For real?
Argento takes it. In this one, I'm being fair, because honestly, every fiber of my being wants to just like scribble out Argento and put Hooper as the winner, but I want to do this thing right and I want to do this thing fair, and Argento took it by a couple points.
Sometimes the old 16th seed knocks off the 1 seed every once in a while, so you never.
I don't know if I'd say 16th seed, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
This has been Psychopinions March Madness Director's Edition. Thank you for watching, and please come back to see our next bracket's great face-off. See you soon!